Rescinding Biden's pardons, and the EU goes insane. It's 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Monday, March 17th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Although I dare say Patrick himself would be appalled to see what his holiday, or at least how it's come to be celebrated in our modern world. Item number 5 today, the storms. Weather got wild here in the United States beginning Friday afternoon. A storm that on radar looked like a giant inland hurricane traveled across the country from west to east, beginning in the Mid-South and across the Great Plains up through the upper Midwest, across the country through the weekend. Thank you to those of you who reached out to check on us, though the storms did begin here in Missouri. The worst of them really began to flare up just to the north and east of us. North of us, Greene County, Missouri, tornado warning Friday afternoon. That's where Springfield is located. There was a tornado, rather dangerous tornado, that touched down about an hour east of us in Ozark County. 3 people dead there in the town of Bakersfield, Missouri. One more death reported in Jefferson County, Missouri, just south of St. Louis. But across the country, at least 36 people dead from Missouri to Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Alabama, Mississippi. Again, the worst of it beginning here in our corner of the Ozarks and traveling eastward there. According to preliminary reports, at least 557 storms reported Friday, 135 reported Saturday. 32 of Friday's storms and 34 of the storms on Saturday were tornadoes, according to reports. The storms left hundreds of thousands of customers without power, dozens of people injured in Arkansas, deaths linked to wildfires in Oklahoma, the high winds accompanying dry conditions there to blow up fires into dangerous situations there. And here in the Ozarks, we are under a red flag warning beginning later this morning and extending through tonight. Heavy rain on Friday, Monday, humidity below 20% and high winds. 9 million people under tornado watches at one point or another in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and other states on Sunday. About 83 million people covered by various wind advisories. Topic number 4, the EU goes insane. Europe is working on putting together a peacekeeping plan to support Ukraine, with the United Kingdom leading the way, planning to have boots on the ground for as long as it takes. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer there, trying to look very serious and soldierly, wearing his fatigues. France has also announced it's considering mobilizing civilians to counter what they call a looming Russian threat. Now, Putin ally Dmitry Medvedev has warned that Russia really means it when it says that any peacekeeping troops put on the ground in Ukraine must be from non-NATO nations, and that violating this red line, putting NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine, would mean war with NATO. I suggest to you that this is perhaps one reason that the war between Russia and Ukraine has lasted 3 years to this point. Russia, I think, is holding back its best trained frontline units in case war with NATO becomes a reality, instead of just a proxy war where we're pretending we're not at war with Russia, when in fact, as we told you, the United States and the United Kingdom are actually the ones pushing the buttons on the missiles and drones being lobbed into Russia from Ukraine. Medvedev's warning comes as military chiefs from around the world are scheduled to meet for an operational planning session in London on Thursday. Again, the EU does not have the industrial production capacity to keep up with Russia in basic things like making artillery shells for troops on the front lines. Why are they pushing that? It doesn't make any logical sense, which suggests that there are principalities and powers behind the scenes moving things with invisible hands. And I know our friends on the left would say, this guy's clearly crazy. Paul meant it when he wrote to the church at Ephesus. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We have to look behind the scenes. It's not geopolitics, it's theopolitics. Topic number 3, the Autopen pardons. Donald Trump said overnight that all the pardons issued by former President Joe Biden are void after President Biden allegedly used an Autopen to sign his acts of clemency while in office. This was revealed by the Heritage Foundation's project oversight, which found that President Biden's signature was identical on every one of those pardons, every executive order that he signed. The only one for sure that we know he signed with his own hand was the document, the letter that he released withdrawing from the 2024 presidential campaign. And that signature is different. So the question is whether President Biden knew what the Autopen was actually signing. Well, President Trump took to Truth Social, his social media outlet, in the early hours this morning to question the legitimacy of those pardons, claiming that he used the Autopen to sign it and didn't really know who he was granting pardons to. Trump claimed that Biden failed to give consent for the preemptive pardons he issued to 9 House Select Committee members. This was the committee that investigated the riots at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, along with many others, including, General Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and so on. Quote from President Trump now, quote, "The pardons that Sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by Autopen," end quote. Now, again, this is based on the report from the Oversight Project from the Heritage Foundation. The question, of course, you also know that the pardons were issued to the Biden family, including most infamously Hunter Biden, going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was given responsibility for foreign policy with Ukraine. Not a coincidence. Anyway, it's already questionable that preemptive pardons are even constitutional. Before Joe Biden, presidential pardons were only given after somebody had been charged with and or convicted of a crime. In this case, he was issuing preemptive pardons. Nope, can't be charged with anything. Okay, but if it can be shown that President Biden wasn't even aware and that the Autopen was used without his knowledge, well, it will be interesting to see how this proceeds. Will these be challenged in court? Will these people who've been issued preemptive pardons now be investigated criminally? Stay tuned and get your popcorn. Topic number 2, dyes. We're not talking about DEI here. We're talking about DYE, specifically in your food. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as I told you last week, met with representatives of Big Food on Monday and told those executives that he wants artificial dyes out of our food supply before he leaves office in 2029. This is according to a food company trade association email. Kennedy met with executives from PepsiCo, Tyson Foods, and other companies that sell food and food products. Pepsi, by the way, doesn't just make the soft drink. They also own a number of fast food restaurants. Writing on the social media platform X, Kennedy said the discussion covered food safety, stating, quote, "We will strengthen consumer trust by getting toxins out of our food." The Consumer Brands Association, which is a trade group that represents PepsiCo and other food and consumer goods makers, participated in the meeting, and the email sent after the meeting, viewed by the Epoch Times, said that Kennedy wants to work with the industry in a collaborative and non-adversarial fashion. As with the previous story, let's see how this plays out. Coming up, a judge orders extradition flights for Venezuelan gangbangers turned around in midair. You'll never guess what happened next. I'll tell you about that straight ahead on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the ministry of Skywatch TV and our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the 4 corners of the world, and receive your very own copy of this urgent new work when you order the Mystery of the Red Heifer special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Mondo Gonzalez's new book, The Mystery of the Red Heifer, Israel, the End Times, and the Building of the Third Temple, but it also includes the best-selling book, The Rabbis, Donald Trump, and the Top Secret Plan to Build the Third Temple, with 5-part television series companion DVD by the late Dr. Thomas Horn. This incredible book with companion DVD uncovers for the first time the mysteries of the Antichrist's rise and his secret plans already in motion to build the abomination of desolation, the event that will trigger the apocalypse. These works reveal the connection between Donald Trump and the Third Temple. Is he Israel's modern-day King Cyrus, chosen by God to oversee its construction? temple treasures. The recent archaeological discoveries that could reveal the Ark of the Covenant and other relics that tie directly to the construction of the third temple. And the abomination of desolation. What it is, why it's coming, and how world leaders are positioning themselves for its arrival right now. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $60. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Mystery of the Red Heifer special offer right now.
Item number one today. Well, let's see him enforce it now. A judge ordered the extradition flights for Venezuelan members of the gang Tren de Aragua. That's the gang that began in Venezuelan prisons. Many of them have now entered the United States under the loose immigration enforcement under President Biden's administration. President Trump has now invoked a wartime act called the Alien Enemies Act. Now, that's been on the books here in the United States since 1798. And he's using that law to target known members of Tren de Aragua because they are aliens and because they are now dangerous criminals designated a terrorist organization by the Trump administration. Trump is speeding up the deportation process and sending them to be detained in El Salvador. Except, of course, a federal judge temporarily blocked President Trump on Saturday from invoking the Alien Enemies Act, ordering that any flights carrying those supposed criminals to be turned around. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg quickly ordered the Trump administration to halt all removals. The Alien Enemies Act has only been used twice before in American history, both during times of war. Most recently, President Roosevelt, during World War II, used it to detain people of German, Italian, and Japanese descent, most infamously Japanese, at the internment camps in California. Trump's proclamation, however, contends that the gang is effectively at war with the United States. So, Judge Boasberg said, turn those planes around. However, President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador posted to X, oopsie, too late. The planes were already on the ground in El Salvador. 238 detainees from Tren de Aragua on board. They were transferred to El Salvador's Terrorism Confinement Center for a period of 1 year, renewable by the United States government. The U.S. government paying a fee to El Salvador to house these dangerous criminals. This plane load, by the way, also included 13 members of the dangerous Mexican gang called MS-13. God bless El Salvador and President Bukele. And again, I say, now let's see Judge Boasberg, having made his decision, enforce it. This week on Skywatch TV, we begin a new series with our good friend from Prophecy Watchers, Mondo Gonzalez, his new book, The Mystery of the Red Heifer. Fascinating subject, little known to us Christians, just briefly mentioned in Numbers chapter 13. What does it mean? And are those heifers in Israel still considered eligible for this ritual? Don't miss the program. You can watch it right now over the air. Our broadcast schedule is at skywatchtv.com/channels. You can watch it over the set-top box, smart TV like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Fire Stick. If you've got a Roku stick, Apple TV. We've got a channel for each of those. They're free. You can add the channel. Just go into their app store, channel store, add that to the set-top box and watch it there. You can watch over the internet, youtube.com/at Skywatch Television, rumble.com/Skywatch TV, or by adding the Skywatch TV mobile app to your smartphone or tablet, whether it's iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire. We've got apps for all of those. Again, free, and links to the app stores are at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. Follow 5 in 10 online. You can find us at YouTube at 5 in 10. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit that like button. And please follow us on X at 5_in_10. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.